How you doing, man?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. Tired. Just been going. Blew my knee out. Killing me.
Oh no. What happened?
Just lifting a bunch of stuff. I broke my kneecap years ago in a bike wreck. I used to race downhill, and I broke my kneecap into 4 pieces, and so it's always giving me problems. But as I'm getting older, man, I'm getting old. We were lifting some parts for the mill, and I just felt like a crunch, and I was like, "Oh, damn it!" So I'll be limping for the next probably week.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
So that happened before, where you just like you pull something and then it hurts for a week?
Yeah, it used to hurt for a couple of days every now and then because I was supposed to have that kneecap pinned. They were supposed to put, screws in it when I broke it, but I was 20 at the time. I didn't want to deal with being out, so I didn't do the surgery I was supposed to do. So they told me when you get older, you're going to pay the price for it. When I was 20, that didn't seem to matter.
Can you do it now?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the doctor later and see. But and
hey, iPhone.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Mike.
It's good that you know my voice.
Yeah, I do.
yeah. We also recognize your picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your face of blankness.
Yeah.
My face of blankness. Oh man, how's y'all's morning? Hey, come over here. Come here. Hey, come in here, June. Go over there. Stay there, Cash.
Dog or kid?
How's Johnny Cash and June Carter? How they doing?
They're doing good, man. They're getting big. They are getting big.
Like a kid or dog?
Huh?
Kids or dogs?
Dogs. Kids too. Today's my daughter's birthday. My oldest one's birthday. She turns 13 today.
Oh man, how many kids you have? I forget. You have
Three. I got 3 girls, man.
Yeah, you got. Oh yeah, you had all girls. Man, my girls are
Expensive.
Yeah, well, when they turn teenagers, they're hard.
Oh man, you're telling me, man. They're just so different compared to they were when they were younger. Like so different.
Yeah. I know, it's sad. Like I still got my 5-year-old. My 5-year-old broke her collarbone Sunday. I was like, snapped it completely. So we have the hockey mat for my boys to practice their stick and puck on. And so we had it upstairs, and my 5-year-old was like determined she was going to play with them. So she gets the hockey puck, steps on the thing, goes, and it's super slippery, and falls. And she would just fall from standing up. She wasn't running. And so I kept poking her the night. I was like, she was like crying, and she's 5-year-old. She'll do that down. So I was poking her like, which shoulder? And then the next day she was still crying. I'm like, you know what? I broke my collarbone when I was a kid. And it took my parents like a week and a half to take me to the doctor finally before we realized it. And so like, let's just go check and see. And sure shit, she snapped it. I was like, dang.
So what? Did she have to like hold her arm in a sling or something?
Yeah, they just put you in a sling. That's all they did with me too. They just put you in a sling. That's it. But for a 5-year-old,
yeah,
like, man,
a 5-year-old, the sling's gonna feel like forever.
Yeah. Like to attach her arm to her body, like.
That's what they had to do with me. Like I was, I guess 10 when I broke mine, and dogs. We got these things.
Oh.
It was a Pomeranian, but my wife shaved it, so now it's a Chihuahuaranian. I don't know.
Yeah, we got them golden doodles.
We've got a husky, a lab, which is running around back there, and then the little pom.
Hey, Jennifer.
Hello, I am back with all my questions.
Awesome. How did your summer class go?
Good. I actually tried to hop on here the past 2 Thursdays, but our school didn't have Wi-Fi. So I carried all my 3D printers and took them to my car and took them home. And then I realized that was stupid because if I got them fixed at home till I got them back here, probably messed them up. So I brought them all back today, and we have Wi-Fi.
All right. Well, yeah, it's always something when you want to get going.
For real. So then as I was walking in, I saw the internet company pulling wires through the ceiling, and I was like, if you turn off my Wi-Fi within the next hour, I'm gonna have some issues. So last time I chatted with you, I'm gonna just show you what I did. You told me, well, I had a clog, and you said I had to pull off the fan, put the temperature really hot, and try and like blow it out or something, push it out.
Yeah, like push the filament to see if you could push out where it was.
That didn't work.
Probably stuck above it. Okay.
Yeah. So I did not put it back together yet, but I don't know what to do next. I also could not remember how to replace this, so I have not replaced this tube yet.
That's fine. Yeah, we can do that. And that's a different one, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then the third one, is the third one printing?
That is fine. It's working great. I don't want to look at it because I'll mess it up.
So then let's do the tube is probably the first one that
right.
This one. And then the tube will probably be similar with that one on the other one too. So
well, I guess I don't understand why it's clogged, because I remember like the week before that we took out, was it what do you call it when you like put the filament in and pulled it out and pulled out a clog?
We did the soft pull.
Yeah. So then I guess I don't understand why it's not working. Because then now I took the fan off and did the other thing you said.
Sometimes they 3D printers jam up. Sometimes they just do.
Yep, we have 60 different 3D printers here, and I have maker bots. I have I have all my crealities. I have enders. They all going to do it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you have.
We can try some things though, and you might not have to take it apart. So
perfect.
Yeah. We'll start.
That's what
the 3D life
interns on today, because I wanted to have. We have a bunch of high school interns now, and so I was gonna have them on this morning, but they're not here today. So next week, because I like my way of training them to do my way of doing STEM programs is go watch YouTube and don't break the printer. So I haven't been doing I'm not very good as a teacher. We're doing so okay, but I wanted to join this to see. So I was like, oh, that's cool. This is exactly what I want to learn.
I would have showed them it all because I need all the help.
Well, what we want to do first is we want to heat up the nozzle so we can be able to put that tube in. So do you have, the old tube is out of that one, right? Of the one that you were going to replace?
It's still attached, but it's very short.
Okay, that's right. It was too short. That's right. Yeah. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's heat it up. And then, so you can do the preheat PLA. And then use the Z, the control to move Z, and then move the Z up into the air so you can kind of look and see and get to the nozzle.
What do you want the temperature for the nozzle to be at?
Probably at least 200. So you can either tap the preheat PLA button, or you can move.
I'm just sliding it.
Yeah, that's fine. Because we want to get it hot so it can kind of soften any materials and stuff that might be in there.
Perfect. It's heating up.
So while that's heating up, what we can do, and let me change my camera view here so let's see. We need to get like a light right on this one.
You need to send me the address so I can mail you I have that thing all set for you, Drew. The Elmo.
Yes, I'll send it to you after this.
Yeah, text me the address after this so I can get that mailed to you.
So there might be a little blue part right here.
Yeah.
Right there. Here, let me turn my backlight on so you can see.
Wait, where are you at? Are you on the back of the fan?
On the front of the fan.
I think I was missing one blue part, and you had me put it on the top and not this part. So I don't have a blue part on this one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no big deal. So if it's on this, that's fine too. So we can take that part off. So you just take that blue part off.
Off the top?
Yes. And then you kind of push this in and then pull out the tube. So you like push in the white part and then you can pull it out. It should come out.
Okay, got the tube out.
Awesome. And then we're gonna do the same thing for this end once the nozzle is hot. So we'll just squeeze that in and then pull that out. And hopefully it'll come out. But it might not, and if it doesn't, that's okay.
This is my hot end heater.
Yeah, if you want to burn it, your 3D printer to the ground.
I usually, when I have hot ends where I have nozzles, I can't get, I'll pull it apart. And then
Did you say push the white part in?
Try to pull it, yeah, push the white part down and then try to pull the tube up. If possible. If not, you might have to just unscrew that. Yeah, just unscrew it with a wrench. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I'm gonna grab a wrench too.
The good news about doing all this too, though, is once you start getting feels for this, like it takes a little bit, but once you get a feel for it, too, you'll start noticing. You'll realize you'll kind of know the personalities of your printers and how they handle, and you'll recognize different clogs and the best way to get them undone. Like you can do a soft pull. You'll recognize a soft pull real quick versus like a really bad clogged extruder, and you also recognize when it's doing it, stop it.
I feel like I am myself when I teach teachers tech integration. Like I always get so annoyed when I have to teach them the same thing over and over. And now I feel like that's me as a 3D printer person.
It's like to remember. Yeah.
The first thing I teach people when with all our 3D printing, I just have them just print. Even with our lasers and everything else, most people teach how to design first, things like that. I tell them to learn the machines and materials first, because then it helps them understand the design, because you're designing for machines. You're not designing for production. So
it's so much to remember too.
Do I need to snap or cut these zip ties?
Oh, pull it the other way. That doesn't have the end on it. Like push it through. Push the white tube through. Since that connector's on that end, pull it. If you pull the white tube through, then you can pull it through because the other end doesn't have a connector.
But I can't get the filament to come out of the nozzle.
Oh, is the filament stuck?
Yeah. Oh, I got it. I think I broke it off, so that might not be a positive, but
that's okay. Well,
you can, if you have that little pin, you can push it out.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, that's out.
Okay, great. Yep, and then put that little part back in there. And screw it all the way down, and then give it one little cinch with the wrench just to make sure that it's nice and tight.
Do y'all include extra nozzles, Drew, with the printer?
Yeah, there's one.
That's what I was thinking. I think y'all had an extra. I thought y'all had an extra nozzle in there.
Does this kit come with any extra screw the little black screws?
Some of them, but I can also send you anything that if you get one lost, it's fine.
I may have lost one when I took this fan apart and then I took it home.
Okay, that's fine. Let's see. I can send you a replacement one if you need it. Just take a picture of the one that you need, and I can send it.
All right, now what do I do?
Sweet. So now that one's on there. Now we're gonna take our wrench, and this is why we wanted to kind of move this in the air so we can kind of have it up here. Let me move mine up so we can see here. There we go. And now we want to get under here where the nozzle is and loosen this nozzle. Now you might have to take this black part off. You probably will. It's hot, just so you know, but you probably have to just kind of reach in and pull this silicone part off.
It's hot.
You got it? Yeah, there you go. Perfect. And then now you can see it.
Loosen the hot nozzle?
Yes, we're gonna loosen it. So take the small end of the wrench and then put it under there and then loosen it by maybe half a turn. Other way. There you go.
Okay, it's loosen.
Perfect. So the reason that we did that is we want to put the tube in, and then we're going to tighten the nozzle, and that's going to push it up against the tube. So now we can get the new tube and install it. So you can slide it through those zip ties too. So if you want to slide it through those zip ties to make sure they go in there.
This is like double the length of the other one.
Yeah, the other one's really tiny.
Does they go through both zip ties or just the one? Just the one. Okay.
Just one. Yeah, one of them kind of zip ties all the wires, and then the other one's around the black mesh. And then there's probably one more on the black mesh, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Yeah, and then those two kind of hold it on there. Sweet. Yeah, and then stick that end up here. Back into this part. All the way in until it kind of holds it on there. Make sure the teeth grip it.
Yep. Okay, now this part.
And then, yep, this part. Now we're going to push it all the way down and make sure that the white tube goes all the way down, all the way to where the nozzle is. So like push it all the way down and then push even more and pretty hard to get it all the way down through there.
I'm thinking it's the whole way down because it won't go any farther.
Okay, sweet. Now we're going to tighten that nozzle back up. And when we tighten it, if you watch the top of this little part that we loosened, you remember this little silver thing that we loosened?
Uh-huh.
If you watch the little white part on the top, it should push up when you tighten it. Like it'll move up a tiny bit because the tube is cinching against it and it's locking the teeth in place. So you should see it move up just barely a tiny, tiny bit. And that's how you know that it's up against it. You see it move?
I couldn't tell a difference.
Okay, so loosen the nozzle a little bit and then try to push the tube down.
It won't go down any farther.
You can loosen the nozzle even like a whole turn if you want.
I did.
Okay, and then push it all the way down and then tighten it all the way back up like a whole turn. Do you see it go up a tiny bit?
Maybe.
Did you?
I can't tell.
You can't tell? Okay. Well, if you push it all the way down and then you tighten that nozzle, you should be good.
Yeah, I pushed it all the way down.
Okay, good. Give the nozzle a really good cinch again, like a super good tight thing, because you don't want that to be loose because it'll leak.
Okay, it's super tight.
Awesome. So then now, this little silicone part goes back on there, and it goes back on there with the end that's kind of open on the same side as this side fan. And it's kind of hard to see, so if you want to move the this back up. And you can also do this while it's cool too. So if you want to tap cool down, you can cool it down and we can do this part because it's kind of hot.
We had to smelt a 12-pound ingot of copper yesterday. And one of my interns accidentally grabbed the tongs. So,
oh no.
Yeah, I was like, well, I told him, his parents were asking, like, how could you injure yourself? I said, most of the stuff, you really can't.
What are you smelting copper for, Drew? Y'all are nuts. What are you doing?
We're actually designing we're working on testing a magnetic resonance thruster for a spacecraft. No joke. And so it's a test design. So I need a big copper ingot for one of the internal pieces.
Jennifer? Did you get it?
It's on. Yeah.
Wait, okay, so that one should be good to go. So you should be able to load filament, and then we'll do a test print. But before we print, because we loosen the nozzle a tiny bit, we'll want to do the BL Touch level.
Okay.
With the paper. So we'll do that tutorial and then BL Touch level. And then you'll be ready to print. And the big thing is,
did you say BL Touch? What did you tell me to do? BL Touch what?
Calibrate the BL Touch. So it'll be tutorial, menu, tutorials, calibrate the BL Touch.
Okay.
Yay, BL Touch. I screwed up one of my printers. So Jennifer, the other day I have some other printers that I was doing, and I had to upgrade the firmware on the printer to be able to handle the BL Touch, one of my realities, and I tripped over the cord while I was in the middle of updating firmware. So I bricked I've got a JTAG in and redo it, but basically I bricked it accidentally.
What is it doing?
It's hot. Okay, yeah, turn it off. Is the cord caught on the wheels on the hot end? Do you see where the cord is?
Oh my God.
Is it caught?
How did that even happen? This cord is so wrapped up. What cord is that?
It's so crazy, Drew, how just with the sound of that, you knew exactly what happened.
I've had 3D printers make a lot of noises at me.
I don't understand how it did that.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
Trust me.
The way that you would know that happens is like if it's ever something's preventing it from moving. So that usually means it's bound up and something's caught. So yeah, what's twisted up? Is it like the cord on the side or?
See that? Right here?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can just it'd probably be easier just to unplug that.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm unplugging them all, but it's so wrapped up. How did that even happen?
It must have got caught.
Oh, it got stuck on the screw. Yeah, it got caught on the screw.
Around it,
On
yeah.
screw.
Can I cut this?
You can't cut it, no. I think it's just twisted.
I mean, this part. It's cut on
Black
this.
part? The
Oh,
yeah,
sheathing?
it's just a mesh. Yeah, that's fine. Just not any of the wires.
I figured that part.
Yeah. I had a 6th grader one time cut all the wires because they were in the way. So that's why.
So I think this got caught.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
You can cut that off. It just kind of came.
If you have a light or two, you can also melt in, cut off the spray, and then melt it a little bit without melting the wires, and it'll keep it from fraying.
There you
Do
go.
not have a lighter.
The cord should be fine.
Do I need to re-zip tie this?
Yeah, you might want to just to make sure that it doesn't get caught again. If you've got an extra zip tie.
Gosh, that scared me.
Dang it! I wish my interns were here today. This is the stuff I wanted to see because this is the stuff that happens. I mean, everybody, even to me, even to Drew every now and then when they're working on things, things like that happen.
Well, I'm sure I'll struggle again.
Yeah. Oh,
They
with
need
interns,
assistance.
you always will.
If
If you get to where you have 80% of your prints printing every time, you'll be lucky. But
it's still tangled around that, Jennifer, I see on the bottom.
Oh, yeah, it is. Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, and then
Okay.
that other black cord. So yeah, E goes into the one with the silver lever. That's E.
This one?
Yep. That other one's X, and then the little switch is the small one, and it's kind of hard to get in there.
Where did I pull this one out of?
The bottom of that motor. It's kind of hard to see, but
Yeah.
it's on the bottom. It's like right there, right above where you are. Yeah, right there. There you go.
This one's in the way. In there.
yeah, make sure it's the right direction. Just there.
Yeah, it'll only go in one way, so.
And you can bend those pins. If you bend those pins.
Here we go. It's in.
Yeah. And then on the top, this part on top, make sure that the white tube and the black mesh are kind of all together. Make sure they're not too loose. Are they together and kind of held together by the zip ties, like mine?
Right here?
Yeah. Yeah, look good.
Kind of loose. I'll tighten it. Okay. I think I'm good now.
Okay. And that, yeah, it should be good.
Whew,
Yeah, 'cause you
I'll
can
turn
pull
it back
some-
on.
You can pull some of this black mesh this way. See how mine is kind of curved around the side, like
Which one? This one?
yeah. So see how mine kind of follows around. Well, my
Anything on yours?
camera just decided to die. Weird. Of course, right when I was going to show you. There we go. There we go. So see how this one is kind of following the white tube across?
Yeah.
Kind of keeps the mesh out of the way. Yeah,
My
there you go.
white is a lot longer than that.
That's so you if you want, see where you're holding it right now. If you want to put another zip tie on there, that will help hold it on there. And that can kind of just keep all that out of the way.
Oh my gosh, that scared me. I thought I like broke it.
No, it's fine. There we go. That'll kind of keep all that together. Perfect. All right, now let's do that calibrate BL touch again.
All right. Now that it's scared me half there. Menu, tutorials.
There we go. Now it's doing what it's supposed to be doing.
Was I supposed to load the filament?
No, you don't have to right now.
Okay.
No, you don't have. You don't have to load it yet. I guess we're gonna need to look at this here in a second again. So,
Is this the one where I need the piece of paper?
yes. So this is the one where you gotta like have it, feel it drag, and move it up and down.
He's not clean. This looks different than it did before.
Did you update it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the updated version of it. So it's a lot easier to use, I think.
And it's supposed to be just drag, right?
Yep.
Like
just
that?
drag. Yeah, you should feel some resistance and scratching, not where the paper's buckling, but quite a bit of drag.
Yeah, it's kind of scratching the paper, so I'd say that's good.
Yeah, that's great. So then, yeah, you can say next and done. And then, yeah, you load film, and that one should be good to go. So
Perfect.
if
This
that
next
one has some problems, so the way that you'll know if maybe it didn't get installed correctly is if one, it leaks. So if stuff like kind of leaks around it, that means the nozzle isn't tight all the way. And you'll know because it might just be like drips of stuff will be everywhere, and you might have filament kind of caked around the nozzle part. And then the second one is if when it prints, your prints aren't solid. They're really squishy, and you can squeeze them and they like break apart really easily. That means that there's a little gap between that nozzle and the tube because it can't build up the pressure to have a solid line of filament coming out. So if you can squeeze your prints and they just like fall apart, or they're really squishy and meshy, then that means that the nozzle needs to be a little bit closer to that tube. That means it might be just a tiny gap in it. So that's kind of how you'll be able to troubleshoot that one in the future. But you should be good to go. That one should be good. And ready to
Perfect. So how about this next one?
All right. So let's look at the other one. So that one has the jam in it.
Yeah. Okay, so this one,
Is there filament currently in it?
yes.
Okay. So you took that one off. So let's do the same thing and heat up the nozzle on that one too. So do the preheat PLA on it. Instead of why don't you move that nozzle slider all the way to the top, like 260, all the way over. Max it out.
What?
So move this slider all the way to the right of the nozzle temperature. Here, let me switch my camera.
Oh, this, I'm like moving this. Never mind.
Yeah, this right here. Yeah, slide this all the way over to max.
260?
Yeah, to 260.
I'm worried I'm gonna break this fan because the fan's like moving. But it's not attached.
Yeah,
It'll be okay. Just don't get caught in anything.
It'll be okay, yeah.
And if you, worst comes to worst, always keep our fire extinguisher, a bucket of water with a rag. Because I refuse to let them use fire extinguishers.
It's not gonna catch on fire.
I know, I'm like, okay.
It will turn itself off way before it's ever gonna catch on fire.
So will I be
bad firmware.
will I be able to put this back together if I only have one of the screws for the fan?
Yeah, that's fine. You can just tighten it really tight and it'll be okay.
Okay.
A lot of our equipment here, like we've overwritten, we have a lot of screws out, like even the safety, because like these won't run unless they're closed and everything else, but I filled screws and we have all the safeties overwritten and everything on them, so they'll still run. The machines still run.
All right, so that, is it up to temperature? Is it pretty hot now?
At 155.
Okay, so we'll let it get a little bit hotter. We kind of want the superheat there. And then when it gets up to temperature, we're gonna let it sit for a sec, and then we're gonna try to push some filament through from the end by feeding it on the control screen. So have you updated this one too? Like, do you have an E on your control screen? Do you have an E under the X?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's the control that we're gonna use. Man, my camera.
Yeah, that's the one I did last time. I put it to 20, and I hit the E, and it didn't do anything.
Okay. Well, that's what we're gonna kind of play around with and see if we can get it going.
Okay. It's at 2:57, so it's almost there.
Oh, sweet. That's close enough. Okay, so with the filament, kind of put one of your fingers on the filament so you can tell if it feeds in, just so you can kind of hold on to it. And then with the 20 millimeter, tap that forward E with your other hand and see if you feel filament pulling in.
No, but it's smoking.
Okay. That's good. That means it's pushing something through.
But no, the filament didn't move.
It didn't. Try to hit it one more time and see. Let's see what it does. You feel the filament moving at all?
Uh-uh.
Okay, this time let's go up and look at the top. So this part right here. So this gear,
my gear is moving.
make sure it moves. Yeah. Now tap it and make sure that gear moves. Is it moving?
Yep, both gears are moving.
Okay, great. Well then try to squeeze this and push the filament in by hand and then try to pull it out.
Oh, I broke the filament.
You broke it, that's okay. So let's do this then. Take this little clip off and then we're gonna take the white tube right here.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm taking the tube off?
From the top part, yeah. Because then that'll have the filament sticking out of it.
Can't get the tube out of the top.
I need to unscrew it. If you want to use this and unscrew it, that'll work.
Okay.
All right, you got it out?
Yeah.
So now you can see that filament sticking out. Can you push it in or pull it out at all? Or is it just real stuck?
Oh, you have to squeeze the other thing and pull it out from that.
I can't get this gray piece off, that metal thing off.
Oh, that's okay. Just pay attention to the filament.
Oh,
Can you
sorry.
push the filament or pull the filament at all?
I broke it again.
It broke again? Okay, yeah.
But no.
Weird. Okay. So
Yes.
there you go.
Pulled it out.
Awesome. Now look at the end of it. Is the end of it melted? Yeah, a little bit. Okay, sweet. Yeah, cool. So that should have gotten it. That should have gotten it out. So let's put that back on there and put it back together. And you should have gotten it now. So go ahead and tap cool down. And then, yeah, we'll stick that one back in there.
Your firmware thing where that's firmware. The just putting the profile in manually worked with the reality.
What do you mean?
I mean, no, with the M300. Because it's funny because the other ones I did it all manually on the other computers. I put the slicer on, but
yeah.
that one I was like, hey, they have the profile in there now. I'm just gonna use the profile.
Sweet. Okay, good. Yeah.
Can
So
I load the filament now?
you can, yeah, and we can put this part back together too. Let me get a. So.
That fix the problem?
So you can put this back together now. So if you want to put the fan shroud on first, and then that part with the sensor on second. And then you want to make sure that the wires stay close to the top here. They all go on the top part. Yep, like that. There you go. And then that sensor sits over those two holes. So this is what it looks like when it's together. So those two holes in that sensor thing, they line up with the two holes in the fan shroud part.
So am I not screwing on the sensor or because I lost a screw?
It's both. You'll put both of them in at the same time.
But I lost a screw.
That's okay. Yeah, so there's two screws.
I only have one.
There's one on the top and one on the side. So you can put it on the one on the top.
Okay.
And then that'll hold.
Oh, this is going on. I got you now.
Yeah. And then you get it screwed in. And then I can send you another one.
I'm sure I have a small screw somewhere.
Are those M3s or where are those? M3s or M4s on those?
You might have a spare of that. You look in the bag, you might have a spare of that size.
Oh, this is magnetic. That's smart.
Yeah, that little screwdriver is pretty sweet. I'm a big fan.
I realized it was magnetic. I'm like dropping the screw everywhere.
Yeah, and it can be kind of hard to get lined up. It can be kind of tricky. So if you want to feed it through the hole first, and then feed it, through that part, and then through the hole in the fan shroud, and then kind of like line it up with the hole on this part.
Man, you're so smart at this.
Then that can help too.
And stuff. Get in there. There we go.
Wait. You get it?
Yeah, but this thing looks crooked. Awesome chair. But I guess it's crooked because I don't have the bottom screw, maybe?
Yeah, and it might kind of wiggle too if it's not all the way in there, since you don't have the other screw. I don't know if there's another one that's the same size somewhere.
Check.
Yeah, the little bag that came with it.
Oh, there is.
Screws in
Yeah,
there.
here's a little bag.
So see if you might have a little one.
These are, what size did you say that screw was?
I think they're, I don't know. Can you just show it to me? They're either M3 or M4s.
This is an M4 and it looks too big.
Yeah, I think that's too big. It's probably an M3 then. It's probably a little smaller than that.
Is there a little bag of M3s too?
I am not 100%. I don't think so. But
I can look for one.
yeah, it might be floating around somewhere.
Okay, now what? Load it?
Yeah, you can load filament and stuff. The one thing is, because it doesn't have both screws, actually I have an idea. So this sensor, because it doesn't have both screws, it will wiggle when it goes to home. But this sensor has two screws in it that are the same size. So if you take out one of these screws from the bottom part of the sensor, see how there's two of them that are holding the red sensor on? Take out one of those and then put it in the fan shroud part, and that will hold this. Because it's okay if the sensor kind of moves side to side, that's not gonna hurt it, but it can't, every time it homes, it would just like level in a different spot because that's wiggling. So yeah, there you go. And then I'll send you a new one for that, for the sensor, and then you can put the sensor on there, because then you can still print. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to print.
Well, that BL Touch probably isn't going to wiggle anyways, because with one screw, because it just barely touches anyways.
Yeah, probably won't too much. And that should be the same, the right size that you need. Yeah, the inside one might be kind of hard to get. It's like just inside the where the.
That was way easier in the top one.
Oh yeah.
Maybe.
Well, sweet.
Oh, just kidding. False alarm.
No. And if you want to loosen the top one, then you can kind of shimmy it side to side until you can kind of get it lined up. Because it can be kind of tough to get aligned.
They all look lined up. Get it in. There we go.
Are y'all having to do any assembly, Drew, over at y'all's office? Or y'all are they doing everything pretty much in Shenzhen, packaging and everything for you?
It's both. Yeah. So yeah, they test print them and put them together in China, and then when they get here, we test print them again and add the Raspberry Pis and the firmware and everything else, and make sure that they're all set. So the majority of it's done there, but we process them and finish it here.
The factory that I was staying at, like in the one I was using for our main assembly of the scooter stuff, that they were right on the river over there in mainland, and they just got wiped out.
I cannot get this screw in.
Oh, with the flood, the subway flood.
Yeah, it was bad. Like I was calling them. I've been on WeChat the last couple of nights, checking on them. No, but it seems like all the factory employees and everybody are fine. But like, I'm still friends with a lot of them over there. And yeah, they said the factory is gone. There's a bunch of housing. There was a whole housing unit. It's gone. But the factory owner is really good. He already put them in. He owns another building in town. In fact, the factory owner lives in the same building as them. That's one thing I like about him. He and his family live in the same building. He doesn't live. Like some of them have their own house somewhere else, and he lives with his employees.
Was it insured?
Yeah, oh yeah. They're good. It's actually an Australian company.
Yeah, I know. I was watching some videos on that last night. It's wild. People like
it's crazy. And the river there, because it's in right next to Wuhan, so it's Wuyi about 30 minutes from Wuhan. Yeah. And so.
Oh, finally.
Got it. Sweet.
Oh, yes. Okay, it is in.
Sweet.
Sorry.
So no, yeah. So then now you can take this white tube and put this white tube back in the top.
I already did.
Oh, you did? Okay, sweet. So then another thing too, I just noticed that this gantry, when you were tightening that, this part was loose. Like when you hold onto this with your hand and see how that wiggles?
Yeah.
That will cause problems because it's loose.
Oh, this one's even worse.
So you can tighten those. So here, one thing that will do to help. So there's 2 screws in the side of each one of them. Side right here. So you can take one of these and tighten both of those, or you can take one of these out, and there is actually a hole in the bottom, a screw hole in the bottom right here. You can kind of see where mine is.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take one of these out and put it in that screw hole in the bottom, and that will help to make sure that doesn't shift and wiggle back and forth.
Oh, that may be causing your jams, actually, because what's happening.
Oh, it's tight now. That was super loose.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, because that's something that you can do, because you mentioned you moved them from your car. So that's not loose when that happened. Yeah, and like Drew said, that if that's loose, that could cause jams and all kinds of weird stuff to happen and it not level correctly. So yeah, check all of them and make sure that those are all tight. And there's an extra one of these that comes with each one of your printers. So you can put an extra one in the bottom of all 3 of them if you want. Because if you just lift it up, you'll see the hole and it screws into the bottom of the silver part. And that will make sure that they don't wiggle and come loose over time. And that can help them too.
Do that right now, or can I do that later?
You can do that later. Yeah. Just because you just want to make sure that those don't come loose. Because if those parts are loose, it's trying to do like exact layers, layer by layer. So if that part's wiggling, then it's going to have trouble with it printing and the print quality, and
it'll also throw off your BL Touch calibration, all that too.
Right, that's a lot better now.
Sweet. Yeah, this one's wiggle at all. It should be totally solid and square, because you want that one to be straight up and down and the base to be flat and they not to wiggle back and forth at all. So
this one's horrible too. Who lets me build this stuff?
They get loose over time from just printing them and moving stuff around. So
is that better?
Yeah, it shouldn't wiggle at all. So is it wiggling at all?
Really?
Yeah, that's why the one at the bottom kind of helps. If you want to just take one out of the side and put it in the bottom.
If you go to Lowe's or Home Depot too, in the furniture section, you can buy, or on Amazon, you can buy a little box of the screws. They're like $5. I keep a little pack just because every now and then I lose some, and like when you're moving them around,
Yeah.
and they just wiggle loose, and just because you'll have just make sure you match the length because some are like what are those? There's the M4s are like 10 millimeters or 20 millimeters, and the M3s are like 5 millimeter length, 10 millimeter length. But just match those, and you can buy a little pack of them. They're super
I
cheap.
think they're like 10 millimeter. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
Now-
you should be good to rock.
This might be a dumb question, but
Nope.
can your filament get brittle?
Yes.
It can over time, yeah.
How long would that
with
take?
It depends.
Like I've had this filament for a year and it feels kind of brittle.
It depends on what kind of filament. What brand is it? What does it say on the front of it?
Is it push plastic?
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. So it can get over time if like the temperatures fluctuate, like it gets hot and cold and stuff like that. PLA, which is what that is, will kind of get weaker and get brittle. So like if they turn the AC off in the school in the summer or something like that.
They do keep it on in this class in my classrooms.
Okay.
The thing you're gonna get, I have different brands too. I like Hatchbox or some. Or the Amazon Basics actually been pretty good too.
Yeah.
And Drew will tell you, but there's different filaments because we have like in our rack downstairs in our 3D printer room, we have hundreds of rolls of filament. I have some that are 10 years old that are great. I have some that are 7 months old. They're horrible, and I'm bad about. I keep them in a climate controlled room. They're in the AC room, but it's Texas. It gets humid, and so the cheaper ones will get brittle quick.
Yeah.
And
should I put these in something then, like a
Tupperware container, and you can buy the little moisture absorbers.
Oh yeah, I bought those. Someone recommended those, and I bought them. I think they're in my other classroom.
Yeah.
I honestly don't do that,
but you can still print with the brittle filament. It's just more brittle.
Okay.
Like some of it, when you first get it, like that white roll of filament is just brittle. It's just brittle from the beginning. So some of them are just like that, just depending on how they're manufactured and what materials and stuff that they have.
So do you want me to load this?
So yeah, you can load it. You should be good to go.
Damn it, Drew! Why would you include brittle filament?
Well, can't do everything perfect.
See, this blue one I've had for like a year.
He made it up with a screwdriver.
Yeah, exactly. A sweet screwdriver and an okay roll of filament.
He's
I
extruding
do like
himself
that
at home.
screwdriver.
It's pretty sweet. I like it too because you can switch it back and forth. I use it for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what I do too. Like ours downstairs is like one of my favorite screwdrivers. We
I
were
know.
actually arguing the other day. One of the guys like, "Where's the MakerMade screwdriver?" Because they were trying.
Yeah, and since you tighten those, I would recommend doing that BL Touch level again. The just because they were all loose. So just do that again on each one of them, and then you should be ready to print and should be good to go.
What do you think of the Hatchbox, Drew? Filament.
Let's see. I got Hatchbox a long time ago, and
A long time ago was bad.
Well,
It's been better lately, but
yeah,
it was bad.
it wasn't good. But that was like 5 years ago when I was getting it, and I was not. But I got a roll more recently and used it, and it was better. So I think that they improved their manufacturing and stuff in the past couple years.
Yeah, because it hasn't the other stuff. I have one that's like a year old, and it hasn't gotten brittle on me. But what do you call it? Yeah, the old ones did. But the Amazon Basics has been working pretty damn good, honestly. Like,
yeah, it's kind of hit or miss. I got an Amazon Basics that did not like a Pet G that was terrible. So
there's
maybe
one
the
that
Pet
I'm
is
really
better.
liking.
I get it here. It was awful. Overture. I like Overture. That's one that.
Maybe that's the one I got that's been good. Like, I have to go downstairs
like
for a
it.
second to see.
One of my. What was this other one? I got this color because it was really pretty, but it didn't print well. What was
I got some of the wood stuff. The wood stuff's cool. Have you done the wood stuff?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, that's been awesome. I've done some. I did a tree. We had to do like a little tree, and I did some.
I can't remember what the name of that was, but I got like a cheap one on Amazon because the color was cool, but it was terrible. It didn't print well.
I may run downstairs real quick and log in on the one downstairs to see. But one of my friends bought one of those like extrude your own filament machines. He got it last week. He was all excited. I was like, oh, good luck with that, dude. I was like, never give me any of your damn filament. I do not want any of your filament. like you can have all my leftover scrap filament, but I don't want to do it.
This one on the far left feels like it's good. I'm trying to load the filament on this one. I did the test calibrate thing. So okay. I'm gonna do a test print on this one. What am I doing with my light here? Why is this all on screen?
To get it unwound.
Okay, what's this guy doing? 219. Come on. I will say, when I was carrying these to my vehicle, my filament fell off and rolled down the street pretty much the whole way, at least 50 feet unrolled while I was outside of the school. It was the worst.
Yeah, so that could cause some problems if when you rolled it back up, if it's tangled in itself. And
I made sure I didn't tangle it.
It's tricky. I've done that before too, and had like sometimes you'll get one that's cheap, like a cheap filament, and it will be tangled from the factory, and it will be.
You know what I use? Binder clips.
Really
if you want an easy way to clip your filament without kinking the ends of it through the thing, I have a bunch of binder clips.
Yeah,
you can buy at Dollar Tree. You can buy the binder clips, and that's all our rolls. I use those. I just use the binder clips and clip it because we get kinks all the time. So I'm really bad about doing that sometimes. And so I've started now double checking my rolls just because I know I've probably kinked them somewhere at some point.
Filament to go into the thing.
Is it stuck on something? Is the white tube all the way pushed in?
There we go. Now it's in.
Sweet. Look at that puppy. Oh my God.
What is that?
I don't know. I was too busy looking at June Carter.
I got these. So I've been trying to get mosquito control. I got these little mosquito roll things. They're like at Home Depot. Like we've had all the stuff. These things work so well. Oh my God. They're like the best thing ever. And they're like 50 cents and they last all day.
You do 3D screens with that, Mike. For sure. It doesn't have to be perfectly clean. It's okay.
Like,
if you pop it off and kind of roll it not too tight, it makes it easy to kind of get.
Why?
Is it stuck? Yep, it got stuck.
I just can't win.
You know that white tube isn't it like it's kind of bent a little bit? Pull the black tube out more, the mesh more. Yeah, there you go. Now it'll kind of like keep it together. And on that one too, like you could put another zip tie. That'll kind of help keep it out of the way. Have you gotten that little Ender 3 going yet?
Not yet. I haven't even thought about it. I'm trying to get these going. But you did say you talked me through it if I needed help.
Yeah, I'll have to get it.
And judging by my situation here, I'm gonna need some help.
It uses somewhat similar parts. That's one of the things that we wanted to do, and one of the cool things about open source printing, anyways, they use a lot of the similar parts. So
it's just crazy how everything, even now, I'm noticing Cura's even has the like the Elegoo Mars and stuff in them profiles. You can do slicing with SLA now, which is I'm still using Cheetah Box, but
yeah, that's what I used when I played with one for 6 months.
But I noticed that slicing.
It was cool.
Did you ever use God, what was the one? I paid $100. I bought a couple licenses for it. Simplify 3D.
Yeah, I have a license for that. I use that sometimes.
I used to use it, but Cura's gotten all the features now. Like I like the fact that you used to be able to stop. Like if I had a large print fail, I could just restart it right at the height. But
have you used the Prusa slicer?
Not in a long time.
So me too. I hadn't used it in years because it was terrible. But the new version is pretty cool. And they've got a bunch of printers in it too. I like it. Like it's a little more like techie. Like I think it'd be really hard for beginners to use. It's which is difficult, but it's a cool slicer. That's how Simplify 3D too. It's too hard for beginners. That's why I like Cura, because Cura, you don't have to be like an expert to run it.
Yeah.
So this just said an error thrown by firmware. Probing failed. Turn off your printer and check to make sure you have no loose wire connections.
Oh, just restart it. When it got jammed, your BL touch didn't hit, so it freaked out.
Try turning it off, and then check the corner where it stopped, and it might be too far down. So you might need to loosen that knob underneath on the build plate, underneath where it stopped. Yeah. So turn that knob clockwise a couple turns. So, because what it could be doing is it could be going down, and then it thinks that it is going below where it should be, and it's like running in and damaging the printer. So it will trip that error because it's afraid that it's going to hurt the printer itself, just because the build plate is too low. So yeah, you can try to adjust that and then reboot it, and then it has something to do with the BL Touch. So it's either what Drew said or it's that.
Did you say you had an Ender also, or a Prusa? You said?
There's an Ender over there.
Another teacher who's moving bought an Ender and said he used it for like a week straight, and then it stopped working, and he said he didn't want it and gave it to me. Like I knew what I was going to do with it.
Well, the good news is everything you're learning here applies exactly to that one. I mean, pretty much to the T. But you know,
very similar.
The reason I have like 60 3D printers is most of them I get from schools. And I have so many MakerBots and stuff like that, and so many Crealities are the Enders, because they get so frustrated, they just give up and they dump them on us. And so we just rebuild them and do stuff with them. But that's why I've been really liking the MakerMade. I like how, because I also used to put Octoprint on a lot of ours. And so all the cool functions and all the things that are really nice are built into it. And they don't do like MakerMade or MakerBot where you have to buy. You don't have to buy MakerBot filament, but they make it where it doesn't really fit. It makes it. They make it, and their extruders are stupid. Their extruders are a nightmare. So
they're more like hobbyist printers, so you got to kind of tweak with them. And
I feel like I've had some moments where I've wanted to throw them in a trash can, but the kids are super excited, so I need to get them going.
So it's funny because I tell people, I have some people that like I'm gonna buy a 3D printer. I'm like, okay, even if you buy it less, I'm like so there's one downstairs I have. It's like a $45,000 PolyJet. Like it's a super fancy like industrial one, and that one will self-calibrate. But even that one is a nightmare because you have to flush it every time. It's so expensive. Like do a little print, it's like $50 to do one little print. So right now it's I joke it's our most expensive piece of furniture because we use it as a coffee table. And but the other ones. Yeah, it's 3D printers. But once you learn it, once you put a little bit of time into it, this isn't bad. Once you start getting these little things down, honestly, a lot of these little problems and stuff, once you get a feel for it. So like all of my interns I'm training right now, I just have them printing. I'm like, printing, you're going to screw up, things are going to mess up. Just get used to it. That's why I wanted to join this call, because this is perfect. The stuff you're going through right now, everybody goes through a 3D printer.
Common, yeah. That corner is still too low. So if you look on the bottom, like look here, let me show you on my, I changed my webcam. So see how, if I pull this forward, these are about the same distance. Each one of these little knobs are about the same amount. Sticking out of the bottom here is about the same. Look, my camera just died. You want to make sure that those are the same on yours too. So that it's about the same, like, spring tension. Does it look about the same on each one of those?
Right? No, it doesn't. I don't know if I can show you this.
It's really tight.
You see that?
Yeah, exactly. So see how much tighter the one on the.
This one looks tighter than this one.
Okay, so but we want to adjust the one on the left or the one on the right. So we want to make them like the same. We want to try to make it flat, basically. So we just want to try to adjust them to be the same height. So since it stopped in that left corner, I would adjust the left one until it gets to where the right one is. Just eyeballing it.
I mean, I think that looks the same.
Sweet. Yeah.
Can you tell? What do you think?
Yeah, that looks pretty close. There you go.
Okay. So just shut it off and try again.
Turn it back on and then try again. Yeah. Because that error by firmware is if something goes wrong, then it just will reboot the whole thing. So it turns
this
off.
One is test printing, but it looks terrible.
Like it's too close or too far away or what?
It is like not coming out. So is that too close?
It might mean that's a little too close. Yeah.
And that's would I adjust that BL caliber thing?
Yes, the BL Touch.
Okay.
And when you level it, when you do the leveling with the paper, you may not get too tight on that paper. That will also kind of.
Yeah, it's like it's the toughest part is calibration, but once you get that BL Touch set to the right level, then you don't have to do it across the whole print bed. So
it's been a while and she's still not level.
So one thing we do, like we actually don't use the paper stuff. We actually just start. I have like a little square print. I do like a raft on the corner, so where it goes around the edges, and we just do it by eye. Honestly, I have it print like 4 rounds around the printer, and we've got all our printers. We just do it by eye.
That's what we used to do. Do you remember that leveling print a long time ago, Jennifer?
I struggled with that.
That's the same thing. That's what Drew's talking about. Is that calibration print? So the
I don't use the other ones.
You have to do that.
Here's what this is looking like. I don't know if you can see it. It's looking a little better now. Well, I guess you can't see anything.
Are you doing the rocket or what print are you doing?
This one I just did the test print.
I do the rocket's actually a really good test print because it does a bit of a raft too. It does a brim, which is nice, and then it also is only doing a single layer, single shell, and so it's fast and it's a good way to tell if you're really calibrated. Because if you're not level, if things aren't right. That rocket will just fall apart. So it's a good way to really tell. And it's fast.
Yeah, I think the thing now is just kind of getting it all calibrated and getting them all going. Yeah, they go.
2 rockets.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, I got a lot of them. Okay, well.
That's a great thing to print on all of them now to make sure that they're all set and all.
Oh, so this finished. I'm gonna bring you back over to the middle. Is this guy gonna do it? Keep going. Oh man, it still has an error.
All right, so it's still going down too far. Or check that the build mat is flat on there too. So everything's lined up like it should be in that corner. And maybe check the back corners too and make sure those back corners aren't too far down as well. Like make sure that they're up high enough. So you might need to raise the back corners too.
Would raise it go right or left?
To raise it, you'll turn it to the right, like clockwise.
Those look pretty raised in the back. Maybe they're too raised back there? Oh, a dog.
It could be. Yeah, it could be that so there's flattening the corners is one of the tutorials that you can do. So if you go to menu and then tutorials and then level the print bed, menu tutorials and then level the print bed corners, you can do that.
Okay, I've done that before. I did not enjoy that.
Okay. Well, it's kind of tough, but that will help kind of get them all to be flat.
I feel like on that one, no matter how many times I do it, it still isn't, like something isn't right.
It's like still off a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. You can try that. I had to shut it off and turn it back on, it said.
You can even just turn that corner even more so the spring expands in that corner where it's failing. Just go twist it a couple more times to where the spring pushes up a little bit higher.
Okay. And just try that.
Yeah. And then, yeah, just keep experimenting with it.
Okay. So I'll just do another test print and see if it'll at least print.
Yeah, totally. So what that middle one look like? Is it pretty stuck? Or what's it look like? There you go. It looks, yeah.
It's pretty stuck on there, but.
So it's probably just a little too close. Yeah. If you're having trouble taking it off right now, then that nozzle is just calibrated a little bit too close.
Okay. Yeah, I can't get that off.
If you take the mat off and then bend the mat, then you'll be able to get under it.
Now it comes off like a champ. It's kind of hot.
So yeah, it's probably just a little bit too It was a little too close. That's why I did that.
So I feel like this middle one's working, and now I'm not going to look at it because I feel like it's okay.
Sweet. Yeah, you should. It'll still print. It'll just be kind of tough to remove the prints from the building.
I need this guy. Well, I mean, I'll fix the thing. I'll lift it.
Okay, cool.
I just meant I'm not going to mess with anything else like I've been. This one I'm going to try and restart again in hopes that.
Is it heating up?
It says it's printing. It's 14 seconds in, but nothing's happening. There we go.
I printed something the other day for you, Drew. I forgot what it was. Oh, I was trying to do that slicing where you were having that issue with the layer thing, but I didn't have it. I don't know where that print went.
Yeah, so I've been experimenting with that too to try to figure out and get to the bottom of it. I think I think that the Z axes might be getting off over time on some of them, and they might not be, I don't know exactly, like they might not be installed correctly on some print randomly. I don't know. I'm still trying to get the bottom of it. But let me know.
Yeah.
If you're
when we were doing our scooters, that's why I stayed in the back. I ended up flying when we were doing that $10 million batch of scooters. I flew 12 people to try. I put a bunch of people in Shenzhen to sit there, and I put a bunch of people in the factories to make sure, because we were having issues with that. It was
that worked, Jennifer?
Woo. No, I was gonna say I think it went past the spot.
That was it. Yeah, it was just too far down, and it was confusing the printer.
Thank goodness. Well, I appreciate all your help in staying on a little later to get me going.
Yeah, for sure. Let me know how they go. You can send me an email or that support email, whichever one you want to contact us. And
I hope I don't have to talk to you for a while.
Hey,
I had to call him the other day for help because I had issues.
So yeah, if I do get to the point where I start that ender, if I need help with it, would you be able to help me?
Yeah, during these sessions, we can work on it.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Sweet. Maybe I'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
You know what you can actually do too, if you want to make some side money, become a once you get really good at this stuff, you can make pretty good money doing nothing besides servicing 3D printers.
Yeah, you can go work on other people's 3D printers. You love that.
I'm busy starting a brewery. I don't have time for that.
Oh, yeah. Sweet. Okay.
Well, thank you.
We'll talk to y'all soon.
Hey, Drew,
thank you.
Hey, everybody.
I was gonna tell you one thing real quick before you hang up.
Bye,
Look at this. Have you seen these guys?
What is that?
Oh, it's a Cube X 3D printer. This thing is built like.
I know the cubes. Yeah.
It was horrible. It's the worst printer ever, but it's the best built.
Is it a Core XY?
It's a 3DS, but the guy paid $8,000 for this thing when he bought it. He bought new back in the day, and man, so we bypassed the firmware. This thing's built so well, but it's just horrible. So I was gonna replace the controller in it and just like turn it into like a decent 3D printer. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's so cool. It just looks so cool. Yeah, I know. Like, yeah.
I mean, if you could probably get some sort of like MKS or Duet board or something and plug it in there and like let it.
Well, I've got one over here because I have a couple. Like, I have a bunch of like 3D printers I built and played with and done some stuff with. So I have a bunch of boards here that I could use.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking about doing. But I don't know. I may play with it later. But yeah, it's like I didn't know if you'd ever tried one of those, but it was horrible. I tried everything in the sun. But all right, cool. I'll talk to you later. You have a good one.
Yeah, you too. See ya.
Hey, I know one thing real quick. Sorry, the thumb drives for the STEM stuff.
How many do you need? How many of those do you need?
Like 80 if you have them.
80. Okay.
I think it's 77 total. And I'll put all your promotion stuff in there. I'm putting y'all's logo and everything.
Okay, I'll get it. You need those in August, right?
By August 4th. I have to have them started. Events August 4th, so I need it by like August 3rd. And then I'll get you that. I'll get you that almo mailed today.
Let me look and see if we have enough.
It's even if it's old ones, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Because that'll be cool. Because I just want to make sure I get all y'all's information there.
What's up, Jennifer? What happened?
Okay.
I don't have any filament coming out.
Is it loaded? Is the filament loaded? Is the gear with the filament moving?
Yeah.
It is. The filament might not be all the way to the end of the nozzle. So if you squeeze the little lever and then push the filament, it might not be all the way to the end.
It won't let me push it in any farther.
Okay, when you, if you put your finger on the filament, do you feel the filament pulling in?
Ooh. No,
Whoop, it just stopped.
I stopped it. Can I do that thing where we just push it through and
Yeah,
see
you
if it's
can do
coming out?
the feed, yeah. So raise the Z up. There you go, so you can see it. And then
Remember that step now.
there you go. And then tap the preheat PLA button so it stays hot, because it has to stay hot to be able to do
You
it.
want it to 220?
It needs to be above 200 to melt it.
It's at 211 now, so let's try that.
And then, yeah, do like 20 and see what happens. Do you see
Okay,
it?
so it's like this, it's kind of weird. I hear it, it's not going through, but it almost looks like there's like a little like water bubble that comes out and goes back in. Like, do you hear it not?
I do, it's stuck on something, yeah.
So I've hit 23 times and nothing's come out.
So squeeze that little lever and pull the filament all the way out on the back.
All the way out like this way?
Yeah, all the way out. And don't stop, pull it all the way out.
Got it.
Okay. Is the end of it melted?
Not at all.
Okay, so something stuck then down there, and it's not getting to it. So it looks like it was hard to pull out though. That the end of it might have melted a little bit. So if you want to get a different color of filament, since that was blue, a different one that you had loaded, and then we'll load that in. Is this the one that we changed the tube on?
Yeah, just now.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't know it was time to go, but I was like, if I don't ask this now, it'll be a whole week.
That's still loose too. I saw it.
This is?
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, it is.
That's okay. You can tighten that one later. Once we get the jam out. Is the
I
end
have
of
a
it
hard time getting it to go in the beginning.
is the end of it cut into a point?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it would be kind of tricky to get it in.
There we go. And it's white, so you can't see where it's at.
So yeah, push it all the way. Now use that E control. Now let's use that E control to try to push it down.
Mm-mm.
Okay, it's stuck on something. Okay, so what we're gonna use, raise the Z up. And then we're gonna need to like probably take the nozzle off. So all the way out.
The gold part on the bottom?
The gold nozzle part. Yeah. So we'll use that flat wrench to do that.
This one?
Yes. You have to take that little black part off and then, yeah, take the nozzle all the way off. Now the nozzle is going to be hot, so you know. Other way. There you go. Yeah, and then take it all the way off.
Is there like a screw or something down here?
There is, but not on the nozzle. Yeah, and then the nozzle is going to be really hot, so it's about to fall onto your build plate. And
Yeah, I was waiting for it not to hit me.
so you know. And then in that bag, you have a new nozzle. We're just going to put a new one on there.
Why is it not coming out?
Yeah, it's probably not. It's the threads are pretty long.
There we go.
There you go. Sweet. Now squeeze that lever and push the filament through, and it'll go, and it should push out whatever's in there. Did it go through?
No.
Is it
It's
going
not
or
letting
not?
me. No.
Okay,
No.
so then go to 260, like move that temperature all the way up to the max,
Okay.
and then let it heat up a little bit. And see if we can soften it, because something's stuck in there. I think there's something stuck between the tube and the nozzle. Some filament stuck in there. Maybe a little bit above where the nozzle goes in. So that
We're at
gap that I was
260
talking
now.
about. Okay. Now try to feed it through with the 20. Tap the 20 E.
It's gonna like explode at me.
No, it'll just push it through. Is it feeding through? It looks like it's moving.
Like this feels like it's moving.
Okay, cool.
No, my filament's not moving in.
Not okay. So try squeeze that lever and then push the filament a little bit and then pull the white filament all the way out. Just push it a little bit and then now pull it out. Is the end of the white filament melted or does it still have your cut on it?
It looks a tad bit melted.
Okay, so it's probably
Barely.
but barely. Okay. So something is stuck in probably in the tube part. So if you can you squeeze that white part and pull up the pull that part up. Yeah. There you go. Now we want to take the white filament and push it down in the top of that part.
Into this?
No, into the top of the tube. Yeah.
Like in here?
Yep, in there.
Okay.
Is it stuck?
I mean, it's not going in.
Yeah, so something's stuck in there. Something's stuck for sure. Is it melting?
What do I do now? It's melting a little, yeah.
Okay.
Do I need to do that like cool down thing?
Yeah, that's probably we'll want to unscrew the silver part and take that silver part off. We'll be able to see a little bit better, and then stuff won't get stuck on it when we take it out.
Kind of hot.
Wait, yeah, it's probably a little bit hot. And then let that big Allen wrench that you just got, that big one that you were going to use to tighten the gantry.
This one?
Yeah, that. Push the wrench, the L-shaped one that you were going to tighten. Yeah, push the long end of that in there.
Oh, that is super clogged.
So yeah, push the long end of that in there and push it down. And that should push it down in there. And
it doesn't even go in.
It's not moving.
There is a ton of purple clogged in there.
Okay. So that's what's causing our problem for sure. So that 260 remember how we take the fan off and let it heat it up? That's probably what we're gonna have to do. We have to take the fan off of that one too and soften it.
Can't win. Do I cool it down first or just take it off?
Well, first, before we do that, let's try to push really hard with that Allen wrench and see if, or even that screwdriver, and just see if you can push the part down and get it to where it melts. And you can even use a pair of pliers if you want. You might have to hold the gantry part. Yeah. Is it going? No, it's really stuck.
No, nothing happened.
Yeah, it's really stuck in there. Yeah. So we'll have to take that fan off and do that heat trick to get to it. Because the fan cools it, so we basically take that off so it will it won't cool it. It'll soften it.
Ooh, I dropped my screw in there. Just when I get the other one working, this one has to be a pain.
Well, the other one looks like it's going good.
Yeah, the rocket's looking pretty good.
And then the one in the end, that one's fine. So sweet.
Oh, everything is hot.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of hot. So yeah, kind of hang that shroud to the side. And then we're just going to let that sit there for a sec. And let it heat up. So now try to push it and see if you can push it down. But be careful because that red part and the gold part is hot.
All right.
Oh man, is it stuck that far up? Is it barely going into the red part?
It's at like the base of the red. Like, well, not the base. It's like right here in the middle.
Okay. If it's right there in the middle, you might be able to do it.
I can see it.
So we're trying to push that down to the gold part where it's hot, really hot, and then that will melt it. Is it going down? Not really. Yeah, so that
It's doing nothing.
the white tube was probably not pushed all the way down to the nozzle, and that's what causes that. So, because that causes that stuff to fill up. So tell you what we can do, because that's super jammed in there. So you can keep trying to push that out. Like if you let it sit for like 10 minutes and then try to push it out again and see if it pushes that part out. And if it does, then we can clear out that hot end and use it again. But if it sits for 10 minutes at like 260 and then you try to push it on the top and it doesn't come out, then I'm going to need to send you a new part, that whole new red and gold section.
Is that hard to replace?
No, it's not too bad.
A lot of wires.
So all the wires are pretty easy to plug in. Yeah, they're not too bad. But I'll have to send you a new one because it's really jammed in there. But I was going to send you that screw anyway. So so what if we do this? What if we let it sit for like, let's say 15 minutes, and then you let me know if it pushes out. And if it pushes out, then I can even stay on here and like, I'll just like go mute and turn my camera off and then turn it back on and let me know if it pushes out. If it pushes out, then we can clean it up and we can get it going. But if it doesn't, then I'll send you the new part and then we can do the repair to replace it. Because it's not that bad. You just have to take off those two red screws and you take that part out. And then there's two wires that go into it. The temperature gauge and the thing that heats it, the heater core and thermistor is what they're called. And you take those out and then put the new ones in. It's pretty easy to do.
So we'll go mute for 10 minutes and then come back?
Yeah. So
15?
yeah. Let's say 15 minutes. I'll stay on here and then mute it, and then you just hop back on when you're ready to try again, and I'll jump back on with you.
All right, then I'll run to my other classroom and be.
That sounds good. Yeah. Cool.
All right.
I'll see you in a bit.
All right, I'm going, Drew.
All right, man.
I'll be in the CNC.
Good luck in the CNC one. I'll see you
All
soon.
right, man. See you. Bye.